Yeah, so the biggest thing when it comes to loaded terms like Christian nationalism is we first have to define them. Part of the reason it's such a heavily used term is because of its ambiguous nature. Um, but according to the left, what we saw at that, which if you haven't watched the funeral, if you haven't watched the speeches, you need to go back and you need to do that. But the second sort of half of the service was literally just our elected officials, our pretty much all executive branch members, getting up, proclaiming the gospel to the nation, proclaiming correct biblical theology about political affairs, and about repentance to the nation. So it was one of the coolest things to see, but lots of people have pointed to it and been like, okay, pause, separation of church and state. You're not allowed to talk about Christianity if you're an elected official, which is just a totally asinine thing to say. And it's totally historically illiterate because you can't read the founding documents and maintain that the founding fathers would have done the same thing, at the time that the Constitution was ratified. I know it's often discussed, but at the time that the Constitution was ratified, at the time that the First Amendment went into effect, 9 of the 13 states required you to have some sort of religious test to be in elected office. So it's like to think that separation of church and state or the First Amendment was designed to keep faith or Christians from making decisions about power. Um, that's a bit of a misconception and a lie. Um, Christian nationalism, as it stands, is a super broad concept, but if what we saw at the funeral was Christian nationalism, then every single Christian should be a Christian national.